This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we are going to now start. First, let us welcome everybody to this online training session on transition of metalliferous mines regulation from 1961 to 2019. And in this online session, there are some engagement rules there. The first engagement rule is that we need to keep our cameras and mic in mute when the presentation is on, because it will save our bandwidth and possibly it will improve the quality of sound you hear. You can still type the things on chat, and if you have any questions or the clarification, you can type on the chat when the presentation is on. Even if you join in listen only mode, you can still type questions in the chat. And introduction part, of course, for this particular program is not much required, because already most of the people I know. So I can, for other program, basically we go for this introduction part. Now let us know what will be the structure of the presentation. The presentation will be of 50 minutes duration, and then 10 minutes time we will be allotting for clarification on queries raised by the audience. And finally, we are going to summarize the total learning within 5 minutes. So as already you know, this is a very, very important topic, and the top management is also giving a lot of focus and awareness program they are demanding on this issue of new regulation which is proposed for MMR 2019. So on the basis of the need of the RMB as well as BSP mines, we have basically designed this program webinar, and we will try to cover up. Of course, you can expect everything to be covered within these 50 minutes. It's very tough. And as far webinar is concerned, we cannot go on for 2 hours or 3 hours. So that will be also another boring for the participant. So keeping this thing in the mind, we have designed the total thing where we are going to only highlight some of the changes which are proposed in the opencast working only. So here we are not going to, the people, I'm sure that there are some people from Collieries also. So don't expect that we are going to discuss about the CMR here. Here we are concentrating our total focus, total issue in opencast mines only, iron ore opencast mines only, and of course non-iron ore zone also will be covering under MMR, restricted to the opencast working. So the focus of the session, as you are finding here, that is the nothing but that the changeover part we are going to discuss. We are going to focus from MMR 1961 to 2019, and we are going to discuss in these issues, in these areas. We'll be discussing about the return notice and records, examination and the certificate of competency and of fitness. And also we are going to tell some of the changes which are proposed in the area of inspection and the mine officials. There are also some proposed change in the duties and the responsibilities of workmen, competent person and the official, etc. The mine working part also we will be covering in a short. And also we are going to discuss in this particular online session the precautions, the changes in the precaution against the danger from fire, dust, gas and the water. We are also going to discuss some of the changes which are proposed in the area of explosive and short firing. and also we will focus on machinery, plant and equipment. And in the miscellaneous area, we will be discussing what are the new changes proposed. Now, I will hand over this floor to Mr. Rathin Biswas. But before I hand over the floor to Mr. Rathin Biswas, I like to already you know Mr. Rathin Biswas, but we are having a participant from Collieries as well as from the Bhilai mines also. So I like to introduce Mr. Rathin Biswas. He did BTech, Bachelor of Engineering, BE, in the Mining Engineering Department from Bengal Engineering and Science University, Shibpur, in the year 2005. He is also a recipient of First Class Mines Manager Certificate of Competency, restricted to open cast working only, and he got certified in the year 2008. He started career as a junior executive trainee in mining in MS Mahakol Texim Private Limited in the year 2005 in Kolkata. In October 2005, he joined Hindustan Zinc and posted Rampura Agucha lead zinc mines. And he is the first person to use slope stability radar technology at Indian mines. So really a lot of credit goes to Mr. Rathin. And in 2012, he joined the Salva Resources Private Limited as a senior mining consultant. In 2013, Biswas joined Sahara India as mining engineer for the mining business. So you are finding Mr. Rathin has widely worked in the different mining industry. In 2014, he joined R&D Raw Material Division of Steel Authority of India Limited as deputy manager and posted in the Kiriburu iron ore mines. Initially, he was looking after blasting operation at Kiriburu mines, and thereafter he took over this job in the area of environment and lease department of Kiriburu mines. And presently he is senior manager mining and also a vocational training officer and working for Kiriburu iron ore mines. So with this short introduction of Mr. Rathin Biswas, now I will hand over the floor to Mr. Rathin, and over to Rathin. Mr. Rathin.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, sirs. The Metalliferous Mines Regulation, MMR, is formed under Section 57 of the Mines Act 1952. This MMR 1961 was published in 18th October 1960, and this MMR 1961 replaces two regulations, that is MMR 1926 and Mysore Gold Mines Regulation 1953. By replacing these two regulations, this MMR 1961 come into force from 1961. After 1961, it's come to its present form by transition through different amendment in the year 1964, 65, 66, 68, 69, 70, 72, 74, 75, 84, 85, and 89. The major amendment had in the year 1966, 85, and 89. As we know, the coal mine regulation CMR has come to its new form from 1957 to CMR 2017. Likewise, the draft Metalliferous Mines Regulation 2018 was uploaded in DGM's website for information and comments, feedback, and suggestion from the different stakeholders before 2nd November 2018. After getting the feedback, the committee submitted their report to the central government, and 20th February 2020, by Gazette notification 138, MMR 2019 has been published by Government of India for seeking stakeholders' comments. It seems that this MMR will be the final draft and it will replace MMR 1961. Today, we will focus on the major changes of MMR 1961 amendment up to date to the present changes and major impact on iron ore mines. So let's start, sir. Here we can see the comparative statement between MMR 1961 and MMR 2019. This MMR 1961, there are 17 chapters and 2 schedules. And MMR 2019, there are 16 chapters and 1 schedule. Chapter 7 means access and egress, and chapter 8 ladders and ladderways are proposed to merge in the new MMR 2019. Next slide, please, sir. Atanu sir, next slide. In the next slide, you can see Atanu sir, next slide, please, sir.
Next slide has appeared.
Yes, sir. Now it's appear. In here you can see there are 2 schedules. First schedule forms and second schedule symbols for plant and sections. MMR 2019, here no forms is suggested like coal mines regulation 2017. Here there is no forms in this MMR 2019. These forms will be later notified gazette notification. So only symbols, plant sections will be there in this schedule. Next slide, sir, please. Sir, next slide. Here in the regulation 2, we can see MMR 1961, we are having 40 definitions. There are 2 definitions, support and underground manager. These 2 definitions are proposed to omit. Approved safety lamp and approved electric torch are defined presently in a single definition that are separately defined, and additionally 26 definitions are proposed to add. So there will be total 65 definition in MMR 2019. There heavy earth moving machinery, HMM, abundant working, average employment, design, risks, supplier, principal officials. These are some of the new definition proposed in MMR 2019. Sir, next slide, please, sir. Atanu sir, next slide, please.
There is a lag.
Yes, sir. Some lacking is there. Return notices and records. In this chapter, we can find this quarterly return, what we need to submit presently, that we need not to submit, that is proposed to omitted. Annual return, presently we are submitting annual return by 20th February, that we need to be submitted by 1st of February. So we have to prepare our return, annual return earlier. And there are some changes in the regulation 3, notice of opening. The form will be, as we said, this form will be notified separately. So along with that form, surface plan and mine safety management plan, that should be submitted along with this notice of the mine opening. So for the existing mines, the surface plan need to be submitted within 60 days of coming of the new regulation, and the safety management plan to be submitted within 1 year. Most of our iron ore mine, we submitted the safety management plan to DGMS, and we'll discuss about safety management plan in later slide. Let's proceed for the next slide, sir. In the examination, presently we can appear number of times as we want for any examination, but in the new regulation, number of attempts will be limited up to 7 times. So the persons who will appear for different statutory examination like first class, second class, foreman, maid or blaster certificate, they have to keep in mind that number of attempts will be maximum 7 times after coming this regulation. And one more thing here we can say for this foreman, mate and engine driver, blaster, gas testing certificate holder, at present they need to renew their certificate in every 5 years. That renewal or revalidation will no longer be there. The certificate will be valid till the certificate holder is up to 60 years of age. After 60 years, all the certificates will be valid by medical examination. If the person is medically fit, then only the certificate will be valid. And presently the validation, there is no limitation. A person 72 years or 74 years old, he can be a statutory mines manager, or his certificate is valid. But after coming of this new regulation, a person's certificate can be valid up to his 70 years of age. These new things are proposes here. Next slide, sir. Slide number 10. The qualification and appointment of manager. This there is little bit modification here. Presently, for open cast mines, there is no limitation based on the mine's capacity. The mines manager qualification is not limited. But in the proposed regulation, for a mine having average employee more than 400 or material capacity more than 20,000 cubic meter, that mines manager should be a first class certificate holder. And a mines, her average employee, is more than 150 but less than 400, and material handling capacity is less than 20,000 cubic meter but more than 6,500 cubic meter per month. At that case, a first class or second class manager certificate holder can be the manager for that mine. Here either first class certificate or second class certificate, that means any second class manager certificate holder can be the manager for that mines. For other case, her average employee is less than 150 and production is also less than 6,500 cubic meter per month, then any person having first class or second class manager certificate or authorized person. Here this permit manager word is proposed to omit here in this new regulation. It replaces by word authorized person. A authorized person can also be a manager for that mines. But only thing, when a mines having default blasting, then the person should have a manager certificate, either first class or second class. Presently, the mines having default blasting or ACMM operation, then this mines manager should be a first class manager. That is changed for a small scale mechanized mines, or their production is less than 20,000 cubic meter per month, their second class manager can be a mines manager. And when a manager is out of station for any reason, then for more than 30 days, then the manager should have the same qualification. The acting manager should have the same qualification as the manager have based on the production capacity. Next slide, sir. As we know, when on outgoing manager gives handover. Next slide, sir, please. Rathin, sir. When outgoing manager give the handover his charge to a new manager, then he should hand over with some report, that's the charge report, that should contain the information regarding the all sources of danger present in the mine, the important safety works under execution in the mine, and other matter of interest related to safety for the mine. This charge report is not a new, It's come by DGMS circular number 41 of 1961 and DGMS circular 38 of 1962. This details about this charge report detail about, but this will be a new compliance requirement, a new requirement under this regulation. So presently, although we are following this charge report system, but it will be a part of the regulation. Although safety officer is not mandatory now in metal mines, initially safety officer was introduced in coal mines by Coal Mine Regulation 31A of CMR 1957, and Circular 89 of 1966 suggested that the safety officer may be the second man after the mines manager. But metalliferous mines concerned, safety officer position was not mandatory. But for our cell mines, by virtue of bipartite and tripartite meeting, DGMS enforces us to appoint safety officers. So for cell mines, safety officer will not be a new compliance, but in the new MMR, it will be a new compliances. And in the new MMR, based on the mine production capacity, the qualification of safety officer is defined. For a mine having an average output, monthly output more than 50,000 cubic meter, then the safety officer should be a first class manager. And for a mines having less than 50,000 cubic meter production but more than 20,000 cubic meter production, they are a first class or second class mines manager certificate holder, the safety officer can be. For a mines having less than 20,000 cubic meter per month production, then safety officer is not a mandatory post for that mines. For the assistant manager, underground manager word will no longer there in the new regulation. For the assistant manager, DGMS will have some guideline like this coal mine regulation. We can see after that there will be some gazette notifications. So the qualifications based on the production capacity, number of assistant manager will be guided by separate notifications. Next, these duties and responsibilities. In the chapter 5, duties, responsibilities or mines management, contractor and manufacturers are added in this new regulation MMR 2019. In fact, the name of the chapter has been changed and it introduced the duties and responsibility of mine management, contractor and manufacturer on it. So the draft regulation, here you can see where I write draft regulation, that is the regulation proposed in the MMR 2019, and where it is written regulation REG or regulation, that is the regulation under MMR 1961. So draft regulation 41 says the duties and responsibilities of the mine owner or nominated owner, or the case may be. For our cell mines, our director RML is the our nominated owner. The duty responsibilities of the owner, it's first time introduced in MMR. It will be a new compliance that the owner should arrange to regular risk assessment of the mine and deal with the risks, with the elimination, control of risks, minimization of risks, including design, safe walking system, and after that, even the risks exist, then use of PPE to follow these hierarchies. The owner should see proper supervision and control of the mine in different shifts. The owner should ensure that emergency response plan should be prepared for the mines. Proper training on safety and health matter should be there. Health surveillance will be there, and proper investigation of any accident if so happen, that should be there. These are some of the major duties, responsibilities for the owner proposed in this new MMR. This MMR 2019 also proposes the responsibility for supplier, manufacturer, and designer of the equipment, machinery, and substance that's used in mines. It also introduces the responsibilities of contractors. So last slide, last slide. Sir, previous slide, sir. Duties, responsibilities of contractors. Most of our mines are presently, we are having in Indian mines, we are having contractors operations. So the contractor responsibilities are introduced here. The contractor, Atanu sir, इससे previous slide sir, इससे पहले वाला. Yes sir. The contractor should communicate and coordinate with the appropriate level of supervisors, officials, and senior officials of the mine before commencing his operations to find the risks and hazards associated with the job he is proposed to carry out. The contractor should report if there is any injury. The contractor should arrange training of his person, and contractor should submit his annual report. The mines management should ensure that the same training facility should be given to the contractor's employee as their own employee. And the management should look that the contractor is licensed and registered, and the contractor health safety requirement system will be there, and there should be a penalty for non-fulfillment of this. These things should be in the contract agreement, like in the work order. This should be there. The duty responsibilities for the safety officer. The safety officer's duty responsibility more or less will be the same as present they are doing in our cell mines. The duty responsibilities, safety officer will visit of the mines and meet the worker to spot and talk the safety matter and invite their suggestion. The safety officer will take charges for the new staffs, new recruited staffs, and show them the in and around the mine, pointed out the safe and unsafe condition of the mine, and especially the area where the new recruitee is going to be work. The safety officer will investigate all type of accident or incident in the mine. Safety officer will apprise regarding safety to the manager for the possible sources of danger, including inundation, fire, and all slope failure, bends and dam failures, etc. It's happened, so that thing should be appraised by the safety officer to the manager. The safety officer will take safety classes in the training session, and safety officer will be a part to framing the training event, the safety lectures and training for the mine staffs. The safety week organized and safety education and propaganda, that's also be the part of safety officer's duty. The safety officer will assist the manager in all safety related matter, and safety officer will look after that there should be the emergency plan as required in the mine is in plant is there, and it is implemented properly. The safety officer will maintain his diary. Then the duty responsibilities of heavy earth moving machineries operators, including HMM and dumper trucks operator, all type of HMM. This was first introduced by DGMS Circular 36 of 1972 in the condition for use of heavy machine or defuel blasting. In Circular 17 of 1977, the operator's duties are introduced, and in the MMR it is first time introduced in MMR 2019. The draft regulation 66 and 67 tells that both dumper operator and other ACMM operator should check their machine before start the shift. So they will pre-shift check they will do the pre-shift check. They should maintain a logbook. Logbook system should be there about their machine or their performance of the machine, and if any problem they found, they will write it there. They will follow the SOP, standard operation, the practice for the machine, and they will see that no unauthorized person should not enter in their machine. They will not accompany some unauthorized person, and the dumper operator must follow the traffic rule and follow the concerned SOP regarding the blind corner, blind turn. They will follow this, and these duties, responsibilities of operators, this also being a part of our mine working permission. So presently it is followed, but it will be a part of the compliance part of the new regulation. Next, for the plan section, there is no chapter. There is not much changes in the chapter plan and sections. There is only one change, that the plan section what we need to submit in every year, that will no longer be required. Next, sir. This means access and egress and ladder ways, transport of main materials, windings in haulage, and haulage system, shaft system, that will not discuss here. We'll now discuss about this mine working. One of the major changes in mine working here in this new regulation is safety management plan. Safety management plan was initially introduced in the recommendation of 9 safety conference in mines. The risk management as a tool for development of appropriate health and safety management system, and later in the recommendation of 10th and 11th safety conferences, the safety management system strategy for implementation and path forward, this was introduced, and DGMS by its circular, technical circular SNT 13 of 2002, dated 31st December 2002, safety management system, a guideline for implementation, was first introduced, this safety management system. It was followed by circular number 2 of 2011 and 5 of 2016. 2 of 2011 says that safety management system provisions for auditing and reviewing, and 5 of 2016 dated 2nd April 2016 tell that integrated approach for development of safety management plan for coal and metalliferous mines. Our most of the shale mines, we submitted the draft safety management plan to DGMS, although it is not yet approved. But this safety management plan, as we well submitted, we know it includes the hazard identification, the risk assessment, the health and safety policy of our company, and hazard management system, the SOP, SMP, that are the part of the safety management plan. And
Mr. Hemant, please mute your audio. Mr. Hemant.
Sir, this safety management plan, what we already submitted, that will serve our purpose, this safety, and it's being a part of this MMR 2019. Next slide, sir, please. This MMR 1961 under regulation 106, open cast working. That open cast working or most mainly talk about the manual open cast working, except regulation 106 2B. All other maximum related open cast, this is manual open cast working. Here in this regulation, there are two different regulations, draft regulation 115 and 116, for respectively manual open cast working and mechanized open cast working. In the manual open cast working, there is not much changes. Here it's remains same, that this bench height for soft ground, for soil, moram, and other soft ground, bench height should be 1.5 meter, and for the competent ground, it should be 6 meter. And for the special permission, DGMS can give up to 7.5 meter of bench height. That remains same Hertz regulation 106 tells. Main changes here in regulation, draft regulation 116 in the mechanized opencast walking. In the mechanized opencast walking, scientific study are proposed that the mine working and the bench capacity, bench geometry should be as proposed by a scientific study. For a new mines, the mine opening should be based on the scientific study, based on the machine size. But for the existing mines, this scientific study should be conducted within 1 year of the new regulations come to force. So it will be on of our compliance that we should have, our mines should have proper scientific study for our mine design, as well as slope stability for our mine slope and dam slopes. So this study we should have to conduct it. Sorry, this mechanized opencast mines for the soft ground 3 meters the bench height we can keep, and this bench height for the compact ground will be based on the scientific study or machine classifications. Next slide, sir, please. Reclamation, first time in here, reclamation we see in the new regulation, except the circular 1 of 2001, the recommendation of Gasoline Court Inquiry, or the accident took place in BCCL 27 September 1995 and causes loss of 64 lives for the inundation. Except this recommendation, DCMS never tells about the reclamation part. Normally IBM look after the reclamation part, but here we can see under draft regulation 117 that all excavation should be suitably reclaimed. So this reclamation will be a new compliance for the mines that we have to comply with DGMS. This dam slope and spoil banks and dam slope, DGMS tells by circular number 13 of 1977, after 7th conference of safety, that's suggest safety on opencast mines. So this time DGMS these regulations tells that the topsoil should be separately staked, and it's practice in our cell mines that we keep the topsoil separately and used later for reclamation purpose. For plantation purpose we use. This maximum slope height for the dam should not be more than 37.5 degree or the angle of repose of the rock. And for a dam, the bench height should be less than 30 meter. For a dam having more than 30 meter height, there should be suitably bench formed, and no bench shall be more than 30 meter of height. This dam should be suitably fenced, that where there is access with a railway or public walkings or building or structures of other persons. If it is not belong to the mine owner, then it should be properly fenced, and adequate precaution shall be taken for stability, slope stability of the dams. In 7th conference of safety, 7th conference of safety tells a lot about opencast walking. Here first time traffic rule procedures was introduced. this transport rule, a traffic rule introduced in this new regulation, the manager is responsible for frame the traffic rule or transport rule in the mines. This traffic rule should be mine specific based on the size and capacity of the machine, based on the local condition, that we cannot have a single traffic rule for all the cell mines. It will be based on the mine capacity, based on the local condition. We may have some broader guideline across our cell level, but for the for the mine it should be separated one, and for the existing mines it should be formed and implemented by 90 days after coming of the new regulation. This code of practice also in the 7th safety conferences, the mine safety conferences, it was introduced. This code of practice, that is a standard operating practice SOP and standard maintenance practice that we are following. Actually, almost all our the iron ore mines, like here 7 iron ore mines of RMD, we all are having ISO certification. So in the ISO 45001, we do all this risk assessment. We have all these code of practices. So safety management plan and code of practice transport rule, we are having in our hand. So we may not find a lot of difficulties to comply with all this regulation. So it is there for us, and it is introduced in the new MMR. The SOP should be formulated based on the size, type, and capacity of the machineries, and based on the local condition. This practice, this should be formed within 90 days, and this should be distributed to the person concerned, and this should be suitably displayed in different positions of the mines. And most of our mines we have displayed it. So we it's not a new it will not be a new compliance for us. It will give us the capacity. We are already prepared for this. For working at height more than 1.8 meter, MMR 2019 has proposed that unless some protective guards, the rail, fence, or safety belt, these persons cannot walk for a height more than 1.8 meter. There should be some walking platform, safety net. There should some code of practice, some SOP should be prepared for working at height. Some checklist should be there, and work permit system. Here in our cell mines, we are following the work permit system that should be there, and person walking at height should be well trained. And this work permit system should be maintained by manager or agent. Next, sir. Next slide, sir. Sir, next slide. In this chapter, precautions against danger from fire, dust, gas, and water, there are on changes there for organizing firefighting stations. For a organization or a firefighting stations, the mine management should establish. It will be a new compliance for our RMD mines, that we should have a firefighting station. Either every mine, here it is written every mine, or we can have some special permission and have a centralized firefighting organization for our RMD mines. This organization, this firefighting organization should have this surface fire stations type, and all the firefighting equipments, water taps, firefighting stations, pump stations, these should be marked in a plan, and sufficient quantity of the plan should be ready. The operators should be operators, and other persons in the mines should be trained in fire extinguishers. Presently, we are following, we give the training on fire extinguishers. There should be proper SOP for warning, withdrawal of persons, and it's remain with our emergency plan. and operation for firefighting that should be there. So it will be a new compliance for our RMD mines and I think all cell mines that to establish a new fire stations. The ventilation chapters will not go because it's still about underground working. And in the lighting and safety lamp chapter, here only whitewashing and no other mass changes is there in this chapters and will not go in details right now. In the explosive and short firing chapter, present practice is that under regulation 155(1) and 165(5) of the MMR 1961, we take the special permission for default blasting with SMS or SME. This new regulation tells under draft regulation number 180, 185 and 186 respectively that transport of explosive in bulk, use of N4 and side mix slurry or emulsion and default blasting. Like coal mines, there will be separate guideline and some gazette notification we are expecting that will come, and under this regulation GMS is authorized to give this type of notification. So there will be some broader guidelines for metalliferous mines also like coal mines. Next, sir. Next, sir. In the machinery and plant chapter, in the draft regulation 203, the design, operation and maintenance of HEMM. Here, as we see in this MMR, the manufacturer, the supplier has their responsibilities, has their duties for this. Their responsibilities are tells in this regulation. So the design parts also come here. The operator's cabin should be so designed that operator's vision is not restricted. And there are the safety features for the HEMM including dumpers that should be as per the safety features, required safety features that comes under different circular of DGMS. This safety feature should be there. So during design, manufacturing, this should thing be considered, and during procurement of a new HEMM, the mine management should have considered this. And the HEMM shall be under charge of some competent persons, that is he may be authorized by writing by the manager only as operator or driver. So no person who is not competent is not authorized by the manager can operate this. Sir, last slide, previous slide. Operate this HEMM. The operator should be properly trained and evaluated by a committee formed by the mines, and the HEMM should not be ride by any unauthorized person. Even for the mechanic and this fitter, during their carrying of this testing or test drive, this HEMM, they also should have the driving license. Next slide, sir. Here in the last miscellaneous, presently we are supplying reflecting jacket, that is reflecting harness. It also come in the use for the mine site operation. Under this MMR 2019, persons should wear this reflecting safety harness. As we know, we are going for digital India, so our new regulation also move forward for digital India. The plan section and records, if we want to keep digitally, we can keep digitally with approval from DGMS. So after getting approval from DGMS, we can keep it digital form. For the signing of return notices and correspondence, this notice, return and correspondence should be signed by this owner, agent or manager. And even for the digital copy, the digital signature for the owner, agent, and manager should be there. For the report, records, and register, all the report, records, and register record on the MMR should be bound page book only. It should not be loose report. And also we can keep digitally, but for the digital on, it should be digitally signed. And some reports that require countersigned by the manager can authorize some assistant managers for countersign on his behalf, specifically where there it is written that manager personally do this, except that report manager for other report manager can authorize, like manager can authorize the blasting officer, assistant manager blasting for signing the countersign for the blasting records, returns, and the registers. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your participation. Now we may have open session on it.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rathin, for a wonderful information
Thank
you
you.
have given regarding the new regulation. And so there are some very interesting questions are also there. So first question that Mr. Kamal Bhaskar is asking: can I authorize a person having second class certificate during my absence for less than 30 days?
Yes, sir. You can authorize, but as per practice, as you followed here also, as per practice, if you have some first class manager with you, you probably give authorization to him. But if some first class manager is not there, or even if some first class manager is there, but mines manager wants that I want to give my authorization to a person having second class or even having a foreman certificate, you can give as per this regulation. You can authorize him. But as per practice, what you followed here in Kiriburu and here in Bolani also, you are not giving this. We have sufficient number of first class managers.
Yeah. And another interesting question is from Jena. Is there anything new regarding how a non-mining person can appear first class certificate? Is there any provision has been mentioned under MMR 2019?
Sir, this is more or less same as MMR 1961. It's almost is same. There's not any changes proposed in the MMR 19. So the procedures will remain same.
Yeah, already I have replied, but let us hear from.
Can I ask something more, sir?
Sure. Now one
Please,
before
sir.
you ask, just I'm one information I like to give to all the participants. We are having right now it is 68. So all 68 persons, we are thankful to all 68 that you are already there in this particular session. So now you can unmute your audio and you can directly ask through your voice. If you are not comfortable in writing in chat, so you can directly unmute your voice audio and you can ask, but it should be one by one. Yeah, now question, somebody is asking some question, please.
सर आई वाज आस्किंग कि ये रथिन साहब, आप एक बार थोड़ा सा क्या नॉन माइनिंग पर्सन जैसे कर पाएंगे, थोड़ा क्लैरिटी ला देंगे क्या? बहुत सारे नॉन माइनिंग पर्सन है इंडस्ट्री में हमारे आरएनडी करना चाहते हैं।
जेना सर, आपका वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आ रहा है सर, प्लीज। जेना सर, आपका वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आ रहा है।
Jena, Mr. Jena, your audio is not clear, so we are not able to hear.
ओके और एक बार मैं ट्राई करता हूँ। रथिन जी, मैं ये पूछ रहा था, सुनाई दे रहा है क्या?
जेना
ये पूछ रहा था।
जेना सर, आपका वॉइस क्लियर नहीं आ रहा है।
अभी सुनाई दे रहा है क्या?
जेना सर, आपका वॉइस काट रहा है सर। अगर आप टाइप कर सकते हैं तो ये होगा। आपका वॉइस बिल्कुल नहीं आ रहा है जेना सर।
अभी सुनाई दे रहा है?
You can write
question in through chat box.
Write on the chat box. Yes.
One question is here. One question from Mr. Ajay Chaturvedi ji, that is there no provision for dump management? Yes, dump management is there. That we told, no, the draft regulation 118 spoil banks and dumps. That is dump management. Draft regulation 118. Spoil banks and dumps. That is dump management. Mr. Ajay Chaturbedi. He asked.
Yeah, another good question is coming from Rajara Mines, Vilay Mines, from Mr. Sikant. That what about the deemed owner? He is asking about what are the provisions is there for a deemed owner under new regulation.
Question of the Rakesh Singh is talking.
Is there any provision? I think in the new regulation we have not talked about the deemed owner, isn't it, Mr. Rathin?
Yes, deemed owners, deemed agents.
Sorry, sir.
He is asking a very
deemed owner is not there. Deemed agent
Deemed
will
agents.
be there. Deemed owner.
Correct.
Deemed agents will be there, but deemed owner will not. Owner will be single on. That is for our case, he will be nominated owner. Parida sir, is SMP safety management plan is auditable, and this safety management plan, the owner agent, this sub regulation 7 of regulation 114, that the owner agent or manager of every mine shall submit copy of the safety management plan to the regional inspector, whom may at the time by writing in order in writing require such modification in the plan.
Yeah, Mr. Rathin, you are not audible. Mr. Rathin.
सर सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है सर प्लीज.
Mr. Rathin, you are not audible.
Sorry, it was muted. Manoj sir, safety officer for a mine having production capacity more than 50,000 cubic meter per month, their safety officer should be first class. For a mines having less than 50,000 cubic meter per month production, but more than 20,000 cubic meter production, then the safety officer can be second class manager. For a mine having less than 20,000 cubic meter per month, their safety officer is not a mandatory post, sir.
Another good questions, Mr. Pandey is asking, what are the new provisions regarding the HMM feature?
This HMM features is not deal here in the regulation. Under the different circular, it is defined. So this comes under different circulars.
Okay, Mr. Tarachad is asking whether heavy duty license from RTO is required to operating the HMM in the mines, or it can be authorized by the manager based on the training and recommendation by the board constituted by the management.
Based on the MMR, this for the dumper or shovel operator or any other HMM operator, heavy vehicle license is not mandatory. There should be proper training to the this HMM operator, and based on the training, the evaluation committee will see their performance, and based on that, the mines manager can authorize persons to operate HMM. But for safe precautions, in all our cell mines, our mine manager desire that our operator should have valid license, HMM license, like heavy vehicle license is there. So it's not a mandatory thing as per the MMR, but for our convenient, we desire that the operator should have HMM license.
Yeah, another question, Mr. Lokesh is from. Yeah, Mr. Lokesh from Borani is asking, working from height more than 1.8 meter, but in a confined structure like conveyor junction house, is the new regulation for working at height applicable?
Sorry.
He's asking that conveyor junction is a very confined space. It is operating in a confined space. So, but it is working, they are working at the height more than 1.8 meter. So, as per the guidelines of the new regulation, MMR 2019, whether the new regulation will be applicable under this condition, like working in the
As per
conveyor
this
junction.
Working at height regulation and it's 36, it's the no person shall work or travel or less footpath unless it's 1.5 meter width. It is confined on and person walking this width working width is less than 1.5 meter and height is more than 1.8 meter. At that case, this regulation 136 will attract. The regulation 136 will applicable there.
Okay.
Sir, I'm asking that most of our conveyor junction houses are at height, in all RMD mines. Then although
But
they are at
conveyor
height, but
junction, there we have the platform, no? There we have the platform.
okay. But where the drive is there, where the conveyor drive is there, and the working platform is less than 1.5 meter, as you mentioned, then is that will be applicable working from height? He will require a height pass.
I'm not
Sorry, sir, you
audible.
are not
This is not audible.
audible.
Yeah, it is not audible.
Mr. Lokesh, whenever this height will
Yes, sir.
so all that means you have to follow the MMR regulation for working at height. So that will be applicable, and the scaffolding is already there in our minds. So you can use the scaffolding or you can make the platform for taking care the operation.
Problem is that for
Mr.
simple operation like opening of full cord or opening of emergency, if it is located at near the conveyor drive where the working platform width is less than 1.5 meter, so will the person going there will require a height pass train certificate or height pass, as we say in common language?
So that means you are saying that you are working less than 1.8 meter. Are you talking about that?
No. Height is more than 1.8 meter. The sir has stated that 1.5 meter width or 1.8 less than 1.5 meter width and more than height of 1.8 meter. There are places in conveyor houses, junction houses, or any other structure where the width of platform, generally the width of platform is more than 1.5 meter. But in some cases, the width of platform is less than 1.5 meter near the conveyor drive mainly. And the most of the switches are located there, panels are located there. So if the person working from height, we have a scaffolding, every other thing. But one thing is required when working from height, he will require a height pass. So if the person going there requires a height pass or not?
I think since your working height is less, I think that is what you are saying. Na? Your working height, if it is increased, it is increasing more than 1.8 meter. In that case, it will be required. And if it is not, in that case, because here the height will be taken into consideration mainly. DJMIS is talking about the height.
No, sir, conveyor junction house is already at a height of 15 meters. So the question of height does not arise. The question of width of platform arises. As Rathin sir was saying, the question of width, if you are working at height and the width of platform is less than 1.5 meter. So some situations where the width of platform is less than 1.5 meter due to the placement of conveyor drives, motors and gearboxes and all.
Plant area,
So
in the plant area.
in that case, the person who has gone to simply open the emergency switch or run the conveyor locally, he will utilize the panel and the width of platform is less than 1.5 meters. If this is a particular case, although we are sending right now, but will the person in any case requires a height pass for that?
Yes.
See, it will attract the work at height regulation 136. But what the exact modality will be, that will be defined as per the SOP. And the SOP for that, mine manager and the engineer will form the SOP for the mine. So based on the SOP, based on their work permit system, that can be done. So it will locally you can attract this. What will consider in your SOP that you can consider there. One more thing is that this waste dump management plan. Waste dump management plan is not likely the waste dump management plan here in regulation 116. You can see the scientific study part. You can see the scientific study should conduct for method of working, ultimate pit slope, dump slope, monitoring of slope, and design all these things. The scientific study will be there, and that study report it is written that it should done, and a copy of that should be kept in the mines manager office. Copy of that report should be available in the mine office.
Okay. Mr. Ajay Kumar Chaturvedi, I think you have joined from Colliery.
Appointment of agents is there.
Yeah, please continue. Rathin, continue.
But मेरा क्वेश्चन आएगा अभी.
Rathin,
Regulation 7, that is
whenever you ask question, in that case only audio unmuted. Other person are requested to mute your audio because it is stating disturbance. We are unable to hear the question. So
Hello?
please mute your. Whenever you have question, then only you can unmute. And you should unmute. Yeah, please.
Hello?
Yeah. Mr. Maheshwari.
In previous question it is asked that ki there is not a mandatory to have a heavy vehicles driver certificate, and manager appoint as a operator by viewing their performance. And previously we can see in that we have operator have to submit the heavy vehicle certificate or HEMM certificate. It is not a must for all the operators to have to submit, or it will be performance based. Means if any operator perform well, then manager can appoint as operator. If it will not perform well, then it can deny to operate the machines. What will be the correct procedure to become operators or operate a machine, heavy machines?
Rathin, take this.
See, as per the MMR, it is not mandatory for an operator to have a heavy vehicle license. But for our case, it is practiced in SAIL that for all the operators should have heavy vehicle license. It is our guideline, it is SAIL guideline that our operators should have heavy vehicle license. It is not as per practice, as per the MMR. For SAIL, all our mines, unless a person have a heavy vehicle license, we don't, our managers don't authorize a person for operating HMM. So for our case, for SAIL case, our operator should have a valid heavy vehicle license.
Okay.
Okay, another interesting question from Mr. Ajay Chaturvedi from Colliery. He is saying that in CMR, in the revised CMR, in CMR I think 2017, it is mentioned that mines, coal mines, especially coal mines, they need to submit the waste dump management plan. But and most of the mines they have engaged, most of the SAIL mines they have engaged the consultant for doing that waste dump management plan. So he's asking that in what about the MMR 2019? Why MMR 2019 is not talking about this? Mr. Rathin.
Sir, under regulation 116, that's the draft regulation 116, the mechanized
Okay.
open cast working. This thing is considered that the scientific study, what I told, that scientific study should be conducted within 1 year after coming of this new regulation. So that regulation cover all this, the mine working as well as the dump operation also. So dump stability and others, that part should be carried out, that study should be carried out. So it is under the regulation 116 of the mechanized open cast working.
Okay. And another very Mr. Shah, Pawan Kumar Shah is asking very basic question. He's saying that is there any certificate required for blasting officer?
Of course, blasting officer is one of the assistant manager. So the normally in our cell mine practice, we give one of the assistant manager the blasting charge. So that's the qualification of the assistant managers. Same qualification will be required, and assistant manager, number of assistant manager and their qualification will based on production capacity.
And that means the second class, minimum second class certificate, he should be a second class certificate holder, isn't it?
Yes.
For blasting,
No,
minimum.
it depends. It depends, sir. If a mine having a larger capacity, there they may say that it the blasting officer also have first class also. So it's not clear right now. It will be defined later. It will be under the gazette notification. What will come there? It will define.
Okay. So, and another question, ma'am, from Parida. In absence of safety officer, anybody else having required qualification can be appointed as safety officer?
Yes, in absence of safety officer for a shorter duration, his charge should be handed over to another person who is having the same qualification. This is also practiced in our mines. All the mines we are practicing this. Even blasting officer is on leave, then we give his authorization to another person to take care of the blasting of jobs.
Another question from Mr. Shailesh Tripathi. He is asking a different question. He's asking, is there any change in the periodicity of survey for highly mechanized iron mines? Any changes in the periodicity?
So in the plan section chapter, there is not much changes. The provisions in 1961, MMR 1961 is remains there in MMR 2019. So there is not much changes.
Another question from Mr. Rupesh Garg. He is asking about the provision for renewal of mining men, foreman, second class and first class certificate.
Garg sir, for a persons like we up to our age of 60 years, we don't have required to renew this certificate. But after 60 years, if you want to have your certificate valid, then you have to go under medical examination. Then only your certificate will be valid. Every year you have to go for medical examination at DCMS. So your certificate can valid up to your age of 70 years.
Another question from Mr. Manoj.
Am I audible?
Okay. So let's take up the next question from Mr. Manoj Kumar from Megataburu Mines. He is saying that as it is said that plan needs to be submitted annually.
Manoj
Is it to be kept digitally or in the hard form? He's asking that
I told presently under MMR 1961, we have to submit plans to every year. But in the MMR 2019, this clause is not there. So every year we need not to be submit. We will not no longer required to submit the plan section every year. Yeah, and we can keep digitally or hard copy as per our choice, but to keep the plan section digitally, we have to take permissions from DGMS. We have to take the special permission from DGMS to keep the plan section in digital form.
Okay, another good question from Mr. Mahapatra. He is asking, is there any provision in MMR 2019 regarding the hall road design?
Road design. I'll see it, sir. Hall road design part is to see. Mahapatra, sir, I'll see it and tell you later. The hall road design part, I cannot remember. Hall road design part is there, but before denying it, I have to recheck.
Okay. Another question from Mr. Srikanth from Rajaram. But this is a very basic question. He is asking that applicability of first class certificate of competency to both metal and coal. No, as far I know, there is separate FCC you need to clear. For metalliferous, there is in fact there are two first class certification is there. One is that restricted, another is non-restricted. So under MMR there is two certification, and for CMR there is a separate certification is there. So you cannot have, suppose if you have got a one FCC in metal, so you cannot. That will not be applicable in the coal. So for that you have to have a separate first class certificate of competency for coal. I think Srikanth, I think I am able to convince Mr. Srikanth. And the other question is that, sir, that there is not mandatory to have heavy vehicle certificate. This is done.
Next question.
Next question.
One questions from my minds that my minds is somehow merged with water. I think water danger plan is not performed, and some design is any provisions of some design in these new regulations.
There is no changes in plant section chapters. Hello, we are talking about the changes. There is no changes in the plant section chapters. It's remains same for this as it was in 1960 on. So that's remains same for this new regulation.
Any provision of water danger area? How to work correctly in water danger area in new provisions? In any guidelines?
There is no new guideline, but guidelines is there. It's under the danger from surface order, this regulation 147, and danger from underground inundation regulation 148, inundation of floating regulation 149, and construction of reservoir, dam, and other structures, that is regulation 150. So this regulation is there, but these are already in regulation MMR 1961. So this is that's why we don't discuss detail on it. So here we are all the transition, the changes from 61 to 2019. That must we tell this inundation and all these parts are there in the plans, and this danger from chapter 12. Presently the chapter 12, precautions against danger from fire, dust, gas, and water. In this chapter you will find all these provisions are there.
Yeah. Yes. Anybody want to ask anything? Yes. Otherwise, yeah. Well, one question from Mr. Durgacharan Parida. He is a question to MTI. He is asking that can MTI arrange a special program on safety management plan? Okay, Mr. Parida, we will think of maybe we'll be in the coming days.
Go to meeting in progress. You are unmuted. Mute.
Who?
Huh?
Okay, Mr. Durgacharan Paida, we will maybe in the coming days we will come up with that. Maybe it will be a webinar on safety management plan. We'll see. We'll look into and we'll. If it is a requirement of the mines, definitely we will cater to that. Okay, and any let me see any other important question. Why so many questions? Very nice to hear from you all.
One more question from Tarachand regarding qualification of competent persons. It's not clearly. It's almost same. That is MMR 1961. This 2019 does not tell a lot about it. So it's based on the mines manager prediction. This competent persons authorization here. Appointment of officers and competent persons under regulation 39. They are also the same. 39 regulation is there. So this appointment should be there, and based on the mines manager written permission, this appointment should be made. But that qualification is and criteria is not mentioned separately.
So
this
please
mobile. Okay, I just take.
Yeah. This is the question I was thinking to address. Very interesting question from Mr. Pramod. He's asking that HMM operator is carrying mobile during operation. How MMR this?
Just 1 minute, sir. I'll check and reply.
Okay.
Check. Cannot remember. Okay.
So I think we have taken all the major questions. In fact, we have taken almost all the questions. We have whatever questions you have raised in the chat box. We have already taken care. And in the future also, we will definitely come out with many such technical training intervention, especially in the mines area. And this we will definitely do. But this particular program is very useful because as of now, the SAIL management is having a high concern. Even the steel secretary, I can tell you, the steel secretary is also having a high concern for the safety of the people. So, and the government of India is also showing a lot of concern for safety. So we cannot have any negligence in the area of safety area. And for that, DGMS already for mines, DGMS is already there. Statutory body is there who is regulating the safety aspects of mines. So that the whatever changes that the MMR is proposing, definitely we have to act on that. And finally, we need to keep our people safe and so that they can return their home with a safely they can return, and they can finally they can give a lot of productivity for the mines and as of whole in for sale. Yeah, Mr. Rathin, you are about to say something. Yeah, Rathin.
Sir, for Pramod Kumar sir, here in regulation 67, it does not tells about the carrying of mobile to the
mobile is not, I mean, it's not there. I mean,
operator,
maybe,
but in the different circular, it is restricted. So about this mobile, but under different circular, it is not should not be there. And one more thing, Mahapatra sir, this scale of mining mate foreman, it's remain unchanged. And this scale of mining mate and foreman, it will be as per the previous this previous circular only, nothing here new. And for the mobile 12 safety conference, Manoj sir give the right example. The 12 safety conference here is clearly written that no operator can carry this, no persons can carry the mobile. So although this MMR does not say about this mobile carrying thing, but no operator can carry the mobile in mine.
Mr. Manoj has cleared na first class?
Yes sir.
Manoj,
yes sir.
Megaduru?
Yes,
it is referred in the 12th conference. That's nice. You know, we as a mining engineer, definitely we need to know all the latest changes and then only we'll be able to operate the mine safely. That's a great gesture from Mr. Manoj, and we expect from all of us this sort of gesture. And definitely we have to know all the new changes in the regulation, and finally we can make our workplace safe. So that is the basic objective of today's webinar. One is that one objective of this today's webinar is that imparting knowledge and awareing our people about the latest regulation in the METALLIFEROUS mines regulation. And other is that after knowing, if we all can implement at our mines place, we can make our workplace safe and sound. So that is a basic objective. And really on behalf of MTI, I like, and also on behalf of RMD especially, of course BSP Mines also, and from collieries also. We are having in this particular webinar, we are having 71, the highest people they have logged in, 71% they have participated in this webinar and made the full success of this particular webinar. So thanks to all, and in future also we will come again with different topic, with different need, based on the need whatever you are specifying. So thank you, Mr. Rathin. Thank you all 71 participants from RMB, BSD and some people from colliery also. So
thank you, sir,
thank you,
from
sir.
Bhilai Mine.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Rathin, once again, and all participants.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, and hope on the training session we will arrange at RTC soon after the lockdown is over. So here it is. I am not clear how we can get benefit from this program. I think it will serve its purpose. And thank you, Atanu sir, for giving me the opportunities. It's my first online program, so was a little bit nervous, but yesterday the practice session was so nice.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
have some confidence.
And
thank you, sir.
also
Thank you all the participants,
and
especially
and
Bhaskar
also
sir, Manoj sir.
I request other participant also, if you are interested, especially in special technical session, you can talk to me. We can organize such session in for future also. If you are, if you feel that yes, I am expertise in particular area, so you can contact me so that more such program in collaboration with Minds we will be able to launch. That will be a help for all of us. And within 1.5 hours, if you spare 1.5 hours, we are getting a lot of information. So I think
सर प्रेजेंटेशन को बंद कर दीजिए ना सर, पार्टिसिपेंट सबको एक बार देख पाएंगे प्रेजेंटेशन को.
Sure. That's good idea. Yeah, you can unmute your video also.
You can unmute, or you can have your camera, please. You can have your camera,
Now
please.
formally this session is closed. Thank you. Formally it is closed, but still will be in touch. Thank you, Rathin sir.
A special thanks to Bhaskar sir and Manoj sir. Bhaskar sir is there or left?
This conference will now be recorded.